I'm Elliott Androphy. I'm a professor and chair of a department of dermatology at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. I do molecular biology of a particular virus, and a number of years ago, too many, probably 12, 13 years ago, maybe 14 even, we ended up isolating a gene that was unknown at that time, and we were working on it from a different perspective. But subsequently, it was discovered that this was thought to be at least the SMN determining gene, the SMA determining gene called SMN. We didn't discover the gene. What we figured out was why this second gene, which could make the normal SMN protein, why it didn't, and that's because it undergoes some abnormal splicing, which means that it made a shorter protein most of the time, not all the time, and it just became clear, the genetics, and that this really was the cause of SMA. So it was sort of that aha moment when they said, they came in and said, it's splicing, and it's a particular difference, a single nucleotide, it's one little nucleotide, one piece of the DNA in this segment makes a huge difference. We had just made this discovery about splicing, and I was there in Richmond at a small meeting, and some parents came up to me and said, Dr. Androphy, I've always wanted to meet you, because they saw my name tag. I've always wanted to meet you, and it's so exciting, and they grabbed me by the arm, this woman, and she said, you're my hero. And I turned around and I said, no, they think of us as super brains. Well, we're all scientists, we're people. We have a different type of job, different maybe set of rules in our job. And I turned to her and her family and said, you're my heroes, you're doing the hard work. And you're going out and raising the money so that I, as a scientist, can try to figure out what's going on in this disease and to help find a cure. I couldn't do what they're doing, and they have the children that have this disease, and that'd be awfully tough. All I'm doing is working in the lab and doing a lot of thought. And so I said to her, you're my heroes, and I've never forgotten that. And that's always come back to me when I'm doing the work that we are, that there's people who really need us. You have a dream that maybe you can think about how to get to the answer to a treatment, but now it's through a lot of modeling just becoming more and more feasible, and there's not just glimmers of hope, there's real hope that we can make come to that treatment. I'm not saying a cure, but maybe a treatment in children and adults with SMA. It's going to take a bit more time, a lot more money, a lot more blood, sweat, and tears, as I mentioned, a lot more work. But there's so many diseases where you haven't made that progress. And the end point is there, it's visible. The light at the end of the tunnel, they say, it's really there from a scientific perspective. Everything is just falling in place. That's extremely exciting. This meeting is pretty typical of it's a very enjoyable meeting. It's maybe 20 people, 20 scientists, and it's very open. We show new data. I just showed some work today that's, a bunch of stories that are provocative. They're not published. I'm sharing them with people. I want them to think about some technologies we're developing that could be very useful for others. So it's when you can have that free exchange, you get to know the people who you're dealing with at this small type meeting. So that's where FightSMA has really been instrumental. They're the group that when we initially proposed doing a screen that's been pretty successful, they're the ones who came up with the initial seed money when it was, like I say, an idea on paper, nothing that we could, guarantee, it's a bet. And they were the first ones who invested in us. I can go to this organization, go to them and say, hey, I need money to do these things. But having an organization that can respond financially is very key to SMA research, particularly in what looks like it's going to be a very difficult time as the federal budget undergoes whatever cuts that are going to happen that are down the road. NIH budget will suffer, it looks like, and that's frightening times for scientists, for both established scientists like myself as well as the young generation. And where an organization such as FightSMA can go out and raise that money, it's sort of a life preserver to the field, so that we can continue to work together.